I have a weird kind of question-ish. It was originally going to be pointed towards Rolo, but he's not here because it's about his newer book about religion in the red pill. But I definitely throw it out to you guys as well. But I basically had a Medusa for like 3 or 4 months earlier this year. And I just like recently started getting my confidence up and stuff. I'm 28, by the way, so I feel like I'm kind of a late bloomer on this.
Sure.
But yeah. And so I've had a bunch of like super shitty jobs. My last job before my current one.
I don't mean to rush. I don't mean to be a dick, but we really need to get to the question.
Yeah. Okay. So my main thing I'm trying to figure out is like from the whole, I grew up pretty conservative Christianity and now more of a whatever I feel like Christianity. You know what I mean? I'm still pretty devout about that, but I'm still iffy on the whole premarital sex and dating thing. And I feel like it's hard for me to figure out where to go here with the red pill knowledge. I got introduced through Cooper to Rolo and then to you guys. And I believe all of it. It's like really eye-opening, and they have like a red pill Christians Reddit, but they're also trying to figure out how to balance these out. Does that make sense?
All right, Jonathan, you're up first.
The Christian print. Yeah, go ahead.
So just listen, I just want to tell you that I used to believe the same thing. I used to be like the cool alpha kid in youth church. And I believed that every girl was a perfect angel. None of these girls would ever have sex because it was a sin unto the Lord. And I truly believed it. And then when I went out into the real world, the secular world, I learned that these girls would meet a guy the first night and fuck the guy without a condom and totally be okay with it. For that shit, it blew my mind. So the premarital sex is happening everywhere. Are you just like, you're feeling uncomfortable with it? Because in my opinion, if you're not going to be having sex with a girl and ultimately you want to marry her, I think in this day and age, you're setting yourself up for failure pretty quick.
Yeah, that's an understatement. I mean, holy shit. Outside of like super hyper tight cultures like Mormonism, and even that, I'm sure it's not perfect.
No,
outside
not
of that,
even close.
Outside of that, you're just totally fucked. Like not banging a chick a bunch before marrying her or whatever you want to do. Or I wouldn't recommend marrying her anyway, legally. But any kind of long-term relationship or fan formation or anything like that, there's just no fucking way that's going to go well. I mean, hypergamy doesn't care. So
yeah,
even women who are, verbally orating this stuff, they don't want to have sex before marriage, or that they would never do that. I mean, that's going to be bullshit 98% of the time at minimum. Just like Jonathan was saying, he was, stunned to find out these girls are getting raw dogged in the first night. And then they go to youth camp, youth church the next day at 19, and they're like, oh, I'm saving myself for marriage. Meanwhile, Chad, Thundercock, and Tyrone are running a fucking train on him.
Straight up.
Yeah, well, you're 100% right, and it's not even like a thing that character can fix. It's back in the day, if you remember, when you were 17, got out of high school, you'd have a middle-class job right away, and you could start a family. Now, guys, you have to go to college. You have to be 25, 26 until you get to the point where you can support somebody. So you're asking teenage girls from the age of 15 to 25 not to have sex when they're being offered it all the time.
All the time.
Like you're right. It is setting it up for failure, and it's something you can't turn back the clock. You can't just say, more prayer will fix it. You just can't.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the times have changed. It's just there's no social consequences, no social or cultural consequences anymore either. There's like zero for doing it.
Now you can sit there and decide to save yourself till marriage until 30, but just realize that you're going to be sinning anyway. At least this one sin will keep you from becoming socially stunted by the time you want to have a family.
Well, I hate to admit this, but Stone actually has a good point for once. And you have to, if you look at, the timeline of this here, like if you're getting married at 18 to 20, which was kind of the rule back in the day, then it's not that long to wait, because you don't usually start getting into, the other sex until you're like 14, 15 in most guys' case. So that's not a long wait. If you're waiting until you're 30, you're done with graduate school, and you have a good, stable job and a couple of years experience under your belt, that's a long wait. Then you're totally sexually inexperienced when you're 30. you get married, and then you're going to be married to this person until you're 80 or 90 because you don't get the mercy of dying briefly and harshly from a heart attack when you're 54 after not having gotten laid for 14 years. So you have to look at it this way, that the timeline has been stretched out, and that's one of the downsides of it. And the other one, just to touch on something Anthony said, one of my favorite old fairy tale books is 1001 Nights. And the Sultan used to lock his wives up with a bunch of armed guys who had their balls cut off when they were kids to guard them. And even they managed to get around and cheat on him. So it doesn't really matter how many things you try to put in the way. If a girl is determined to fuck you, she will climb out on a magic carpet from that palace of the Sultan down into the wherever the horses are kept and fuck the stable boy and then have a genie transport her magically back up again.
It's the magic
100%.
tingles carpet. The magic tingles carpet. All of a sudden they can just float wherever they need to go to get the alpha seed and ride the dick.
150%, dude. If a girl, that's why when you guys like rationalize and put up with shitty female behavior, if a girl really likes you, she will fly across the country for you to fuck her and bust your nut in 30 seconds. And she'll be like, that was the greatest experience of my life. If she really, really likes you.
Well, it was an hour. She wanted to get a drink first.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, so last thing on the Christian thing, I'll say if this whoever the caller was, if you're not familiar with Dalrock, DALROCK, just go to Google, type in Dalrock WordPress, Dalrock Red Pill, you'll pull his blog right up. It's probably the best Christian manosphere Red Pill blog that exists. Rollo's a huge fan of it. I think he's been helping Rollo write his 4th book. So definitely check that out. There's a lot of content there that might help you navigate the Red Pill of Christianity, independent of Red Pill Christian Reddit or something like that. So check out Dalrock. That's I love it too. I read it time to time. I'm not Christian anymore, but yeah, it's by the Santa hat, right?
Jets.
Saint Dream, come to the rescue, dude.